1966, Hollywood, California. Bruce Lee walks into a meeting room at 20th Century Fox. He's about to pitch a TV show called The Warrior, a kung fu master in the Old West. The executives watch him demonstrate martial arts. Their jaws drop. They've never seen anything like this. They love it. They greenlight the concept. Bruce is ecstatic. Finally, a leading role. Finally, Hollywood will see an Asian man as a hero. Months later, Bruce gets devastating news. They're making the show, but they cast David Carradine, a white actor with zero martial arts training, to play the Chinese martial artist. The show is called Kung Fu. It becomes a massive hit, makes Carradine a star. Bruce gets nothing. Most people would have given up, accepted that Hollywood would never let an Asian man be the hero, that racism was too powerful to fight. Bruce Lee said, "I'll destroy your racism with my fists," not literally, but through something more powerful, making himself so undeniably skilled, so impossibly fast, so magnetically charismatic that the entire world would have no choice but to see Asian men differently. Before Bruce Lee, Hollywood portrayed Asian men as servants, villains, comic relief, never heroes, never strong, never sexual. After Bruce Lee, that narrative was shattered forever. But here's the real question. How did a 135-pound martial artist force racist Hollywood to rewrite a century of stereotypes? How did he make the whole world respect Asian masculinity for the first time? How did he turn racial oppression into fuel that made him the most influential martial artist in history? This is that story. November 27, 1940, San Francisco. Lee Jun-fan is born during the Year of the Dragon, Hour of the Dragon. His parents call him Bruce for the hospital records. 3 months later, the family returns to Hong Kong. Bruce grows up in a British colony where being Chinese means being treated like you're subhuman. He sees signs, "No dogs or Chinese allowed in public parks." Watches white colonizers treat Chinese people like servants in their own city. This plants something in young Bruce. Not just anger, focused rage that will drive everything he does. At 13, Bruce starts studying Wing Chun under Master Yip Man. But here's what makes Bruce different. He doesn't just learn techniques. He questions everything. Why do we stand this way? Why this punch angle? What if there's a better method? Traditional martial arts is built on unquestioning obedience. Bruce is built on constant questioning. This makes him a nightmare student, but eventually a revolutionary. In 1958, after a serious street fight, Bruce's parents sent him to America. He's 18, barely speaks English, has $100 in his pocket. He settles in Seattle, works as a dishwasher, finishes high school, enrolls at University of Washington, and he does something that breaks 3,000 years of Chinese tradition. He starts teaching martial arts to non-Chinese students. White people, black people, anyone who wants to learn. Traditional Chinese kung fu masters are furious. You don't share ancient secrets with outsiders, especially not white people who colonized China. Oakland, California. Chinese martial arts masters issue Bruce an ultimatum. Stop teaching non-Chinese or fight our champion. If you lose, you close your school. Bruce accepts. The fight lasts 3 minutes. Bruce dominates completely. He wins, but he's not happy. 3 minutes? He expected to finish in seconds. He's exhausted afterward. This realization changes everything. Traditional martial arts, even his beloved Wing Chun, has serious limitations. Bruce starts questioning all martial arts. He trains in boxing, fencing, judo, karate, wrestling. He studies kinesiology, biomechanics, philosophy. He reads obsessively. Krishnamurti, Alan Watts, Bruce Lee creates something revolutionary, Jeet Kune Do. Not a martial art, but an anti-martial art. A philosophy of taking what works from anywhere and discarding tradition. Absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, add what is specifically your own. This is heresy in martial arts world, but Bruce doesn't care about tradition. He cares about effectiveness and truth. Meanwhile, Bruce is trying to break into Hollywood. He gets small roles. In 1966, he plays Kato in the Green Hornet TV series. Kato is the sidekick, but Bruce makes him unforgettable. His fight scenes are unlike anything on American TV. Fan mail reveals something shocking. Viewers care more about Kato than the white hero. Kids play Kato on playgrounds, not the Green Hornet. But Hollywood still won't give Bruce a leading role. The excuse is always the same. American audiences won't accept an Asian leading man. This is 1960s America. Asian men are portrayed as asexual, weak, submissive. Charlie Chan, Fu Manchu, always servants or villains, never heroes, never powerful, never romantic leads. Then comes the kung fu betrayal. Bruce's own concept, stolen and given to a white actor. This could have destroyed Bruce. Instead, it forges him into something unstoppable. If Hollywood won't give him opportunities, he'll create them where Hollywood can't deny him. Bruce returns to Hong Kong and makes The Big Boss. Simple revenge film. But Bruce choreographs fights unlike anything Hong Kong cinema has seen. The movie shatters every box office record in Hong Kong history. Immediately, he makes Fist of Fury. In one iconic scene, Bruce confronts a sign, "No dogs in Chinese allowed," the racist signs from his childhood. He destroys it with a flying kick. When Chinese audiences see this, they erupt. For the first time ever, they're seeing an Asian hero who isn't subservient, who isn't weak, who dominates everyone with skill and rage and undeniable power. Fist of Fury breaks the records The Big Boss just set. Bruce is the biggest star in Asia. Now Hollywood comes calling. 1973. Warner Brothers offers Bruce Enter the Dragon. Co-production with Hong Kong. International distribution. American budget. Everything Bruce fought for. But Bruce negotiates hard. He demands creative control over fight choreography. He demands his character be dignified. No broken English. No stereotypes. No subservience. A hero who's intelligent, skilled, philosophical. Warner Brothers agrees because they need Bruce. His Hong Kong films proved he's a global phenomenon. Bruce pours everything into Enter the Dragon. Every fight is innovation. The nunchaku scene that makes nunchucks iconic worldwide. The mirror room fight with impossible choreography. Philosophical dialogue about martial arts as self-knowledge. But here's what makes Enter the Dragon revolutionary beyond the fighting. Bruce's character commands respect from everyone. He's not serving white heroes. He's not the sidekick. He's the undeniable protagonist, strong, sexual, charismatic, powerful. For the first time in Hollywood history, an Asian man is the hero. Not comic relief, not the villain, not the servant. The hero. July 20th, 1973. 6 days before Enter the Dragon premieres in America, Bruce dies mysteriously in Hong Kong. He's 32 years old. Official cause, cerebral edema, brain swelling. Theories explode. Assassination, curse, death touch from old fight. The truth is probably simpler but tragic. Bruce pushed his body beyond human limits. Removed sweat glands for aesthetics. Used muscle stimulators excessively. Took cortisone for back pain. His body gave out. Enter the Dragon premieres 6 days after Bruce's death. It becomes the highest-grossing martial arts film in history, makes $350 million worldwide, over $2 billion in today's money. Bruce Lee becomes the biggest posthumous star in film history, but the impact goes far beyond box office. Bruce didn't just make a successful movie. He destroyed a narrative that had existed for over a century. Before Enter the Dragon, Hollywood had spent decades telling the world that Asian men were weak, asexual, subservient, inferior. Every film, every TV show, every portrayal reinforced this message. Bruce Lee, in 90 minutes of film, obliterated that narrative so completely it could never be rebuilt. After Enter the Dragon, you couldn't say Asian men were weak. Bruce's speed was superhuman. His power was undeniable. His physique was perfect. The evidence was on screen, undeniable. After Enter the Dragon, you couldn't say Asian men were asexual. Bruce was magnetic, charismatic, desired by women in the film, and millions of women watching. After Enter the Dragon, you couldn't say Asian men were subservient. Bruce commanded every scene. Every character respected him. He bowed to no one. Bruce didn't argue against stereotypes with words. He destroyed them with performance so powerful that arguing became impossible. Bruce Lee died in 1973, but the barrier he smashed stays broken forever. First and most obviously, Bruce gave Asian men representation as powerful, masculine, heroic. Before Bruce, Asian boys had no heroes who looked like them. After Bruce, they had the most iconic martial artist in history. Every Asian actor who followed, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, exists because Bruce kicked the door open. Marvel's Shang-Chi, Asian superhero films, that's Bruce's legacy. He proved Asian heroes could carry blockbusters, but the impact goes deeper than representation. Second, Bruce changed how the entire world views martial arts. Before Bruce, Kung Fu was exotic curiosity. After Bruce, martial arts became global phenomenon. Millions started training because of Bruce. Martial arts schools exploded worldwide. Karate, Kung Fu, Taekwondo became mainstream. That entire industry, employing hundreds of thousands globally, exists partly because Bruce made martial arts cool. Third, Bruce created modern mixed martial arts decades before UFC. His philosophy, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, is exactly what MMA fighters do. Train everything: boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Don't limit yourself. Every UFC champion credits Bruce as inspiration. Dana White calls him the father of MMA. The sport exists because Bruce proved mixing styles creates better fighters than rigid tradition. Fourth, Bruce weaponized his own oppression. Every racist rejection, every Hollywood door slammed in his face, every stereotype. He channeled it all into becoming so skilled that denial became impossible. This is a template for overcoming systemic oppression. Become so undeniable that the system breaks before you do. Fifth, Bruce changed action cinema forever. The way fights are choreographed, filmed, performed, Bruce set the standard. Hong Kong action cinema, Hollywood martial arts films, The Matrix, Kill Bill, John Wick, all trace back to Bruce. Directors explicitly cite Bruce, Quentin Tarantino, the Wachowskis, Chad Stahelski. Modern action choreography exists because Bruce showed what was possible. Sixth, Bruce made speed more valued than size. He was 135 pounds in a world that worshipped heavyweight boxers, but his speed was so explosive, his technique so precise, he redefined what strength means. This influenced sports, fitness, combat sports worldwide. Speed and technique over brute force. That's Bruce's legacy in athletic training. Seventh, Bruce's yellow tracksuit from Game of Death became one of the most iconic costumes in cinema history. Uma Thurman wears it in Kill Bill as explicit tribute. Video games, Halloween costumes, pop culture, that image is eternal. Eighth, Bruce influenced music, especially hip-hop and electronic. His vocal sounds from films are sampled in countless songs. RZA from Wu-Tang Clan built his entire artistic identity around Bruce Lee in Kung Fu films. Ninth, Bruce proved that barriers are psychological until someone breaks them physically. Hollywood said Asian leading men were impossible. Bruce made himself so undeniable that impossibility became irrelevant. This lesson transcends race or film. Whatever they say is impossible. Make yourself so good they can't deny you. 10th, Bruce's one-inch punch, where he generates devastating power from 1 inch away, becomes legendary. It demonstrates his principle. Power comes from technique and body mechanics, not wind-up or size. This fascinates physicists, martial artists, athletes. His understanding of biomechanics was decades ahead of sports science. 11th, Bruce's philosophy spreads beyond martial arts. Be like water, adapting to obstacles rather than breaking against them, becomes business philosophy, life advice, motivation for millions. Tech entrepreneurs quote Bruce. Athletes study his training methods. His philosophy of constant self-improvement influences psychology, education, personal development. 12th, Bruce's image is everywhere. Murals worldwide, posters in millions of rooms, tattoos, t-shirts. He's been dead 50-plus years, but remains instantly recognizable globally. Why? Because Bruce represents something universal. The outsider who refused to accept limitations. The artist who questioned everything. The warrior who turned oppression into fuel. His daughter Shannon Lee continues his legacy through the Bruce Lee Foundation, teaching not just martial arts but his philosophy of self-actualization and breaking barriers. Bruce's writings, thousands of pages of journals, reveal a mind obsessed with excellence, constantly questioning, never satisfied. Published as books, they're studied by people who've never thrown a punch because his wisdom transcends fighting. In Enter the Dragon, Bruce tells a student, "Don't think, feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory." That's not fight advice. That's Zen philosophy about direct experience versus conceptual thinking. Bruce smuggled Eastern philosophy into action films and made millions learn without realizing they were students. So how did Bruce Lee change the world? He destroyed Hollywood's racial barriers by making himself so undeniably skilled that racism couldn't contain him. He gave Asian men representation as powerful, heroic, and masculine for the first time in Western cinema. He transformed martial arts from exotic curiosity into global phenomenon practiced by millions. He created the philosophical foundation for modern mixed martial arts. He revolutionized action cinema, creating choreography and filming techniques still used today. He proved that speed and technique could defeat size and strength. He weaponized his own oppression, channeling every racist rejection into fuel that made him unstoppable. He showed that barriers are only real until someone refuses to accept them. Most importantly, Bruce Lee proved that one person facing systematic discrimination can become so excellent that the system breaks before they do. Hollywood said Asian leading men were impossible. Bruce made himself impossible to deny. He died at 32. But the door he kicked open will never close. Every Asian actor, every martial artist, every person who refuses to accept that their race or size or background limits them, they're walking through the opening Bruce created. That's how a 135-pound martial artist changed the world forever. Not through words, through performance so powerful that denial became impossible.